everyone, welcome back to the It's a Mind Game podcast. My name is Jade and I'm a personal trainer and mindset coach specializing in HA and ED recovery and female specific training protocols. And today I'm joined with my favorite person, Claudia, who you might know from Nourished by Claudia on HA.fertility.
Thank you, dot
And
nutritionist.
Instagram,
Thank you for correcting that.
nutritionist. Yes, we have had a change. So if you have been searching Claudia and not finding her on Instagram, I will put her new Instagram handle in the notes just in case, because there has been a change. And she is a nutritionist, dietetic clinician specializing in HA and fertility. And she's helped so many wonderful women achieve all the things of their dreams. And today she's here to join us for another wonderful chat. Welcome.
What a wonderful intro, Jade. I'm always so pleased to share this space with you.
Oh, I'm so excited that you're here, and I always look forward to our podcast episodes, and particularly today's topic, because I know it's one that pops up every day, twice a day, maybe even 10 times a day for women during HA recovery. And it's that ongoing question of, am I doing the right thing? And I guess to add in some context to it so that we maybe cover all bases, perhaps we might talk about, am I doing the right thing in a nutrition context? And then we can perhaps move it into movement and explore it from there. What are your thoughts on that?
We can discuss it all.
Fantastic. Now, am I doing the right thing? When it comes to nutrition, supporting our body, nourishing, what does it mean to be doing the right thing? How can we perhaps have a strategy or a thought process that when that thought pops up, we've got sort of like that North Star to go, no, I am doing the right thing. I just need to keep pursuing it.
That's a very important question. And I'm going to have a multi-layered answer, obviously. But I think that when we stop trying to fix ourselves and we ask ourselves, am I supporting my well-being with my current choices? Then we are going to have an answer automatically. Because let's say, for example, that someone has been following a specific diet for a long time, and now all of a sudden they have decided to give themselves the best opportunity to get the period back by eating more consistently and a variety of food and having breakfast when they wake up in the morning. And now, more than before, they get stuck in situations where they feel a little bit of discomfort, that there is some constipation, and they start wondering, am I doing the right things? Like, am I eating correctly, or am I completely winging this and this is possibly not working for me? Their go-to question should be, are you supporting your well-being in general? And were you supporting your well-being before? And chances are that if someone hasn't had a period for longer than 3 to 6 months, they were not really supporting their well-being before. And now, even though they're going through some discomfort, which is gonna obviously change and dissipate or completely go away in the future, if they answer to, yes, I'm doing the right things in terms of really supporting the production of my own hormones, that's it. I guess that they can answer to themselves. Did it make sense, Jade?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that I had a question lingering, and then you already said, or addressed, I should say, am I doing the right thing to support my hormones? Because I think for women in the HA recovery journey, the reason there's such conflict between, or of this question of, am I doing the right thing, is because it feels good to behave the way they used to do. It feels comfortable, it feels safe. Perhaps it feels nicer on their digestion, perhaps it feels nicer on their emotions and on their mental state. And then all of a sudden, they're encouraged to make these changes that support their hormones. And the question pops up of, well, is this the right thing? Because it now feels foreign to what my previous lifestyle was. So nearly every decision gives the feedback of, oh, I don't know about this. Like if you think about adding in breakfast, having a snack 3 hours later, perhaps choosing a decaf coffee over a caffeinated coffee, because you've had so much practice making alternate choices, it's only natural for the new choices to come in. And I'm not going to say straight away, because I really think women tend to have a honeymoon phase. And I actually believe this of anyone making changes, that you get quite inspired and motivated and you're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make all the change. And perhaps for 3 to 5 days, it's like you're on this high and you can do it. I'm doing it. I've got momentum. And then something happens after 3 to 5 days where that voice starts to kick in and go, whoa, I think you're taking this too seriously. I thought we were just practicing this and you were going to go back to your old ways. And now I'm getting concerned you're actually going to stay this way. And that's when all those, I guess, negative thoughts start to come in and question, is this the right thing for me? But to your point of, will this support my hormones? That needs to be your North Star whenever that question pops up. Because most women who work with us or have been on this journey for longer than 4 weeks have immersed themselves in a lot of literature, in a lot of podcasts, in a lot of YouTubes, and they know what's going to support their hormones and what's not. They might not necessarily 100% trust it. They might still be building a relationship with this information. But if you were to ask any of the women we speak with, they know what helps their hormones. Would you agree?
100%, that they don't miss the knowledge. They miss the implementation, how they can incorporate the changes into their lives and how to do it day in and day out, week in and week out, so they can be supported, accountable, so they can finally reach their goals. But something that I really would invite women to do is to stop focusing on fixing something. I need to get over HA. I need to fix my hormones. I'm gonna get over and done with this. And instead, if we bring in some softness and we let go of the perfectionism and we start asking ourselves the deeper questions, have I been supporting my health today? Have I been supporting my bones, my brain, and my hormones today? It's such a much nicer questions to ask ourselves, and we can also release the need to fight. And if we stop fighting, then it also becomes much easier to feel encouraged and to make the right choices in the long term instead of just for a short period of time. And I love to use the analogy of being in a relationship, because when you start going out with a new person, obviously the first couple of weeks are fantastic, maybe even the first couple of months, but then some confrontations may arise, and they're not bad. It's just there are challenges that we are presented with, so we can decide if we want to grow into that relationship. And those challenges are going to keep on changing over the next few months and years, so that we are allowed to grow while learning through these challenges. And I love to bring that analogy between our relationship with food and the relationship that we will have with a different person, or even with ourselves. It doesn't have to be easy, but it can be an exploration. So the more that we have a curious mind, the easier the whole process is going to feel. Actually, the more exciting it's going to be.
Absolutely. And I'm smiling on the inside as you brought up the relationship dynamic, because I actually had a conversation with one of our wonderful ladies in the HA community about how I moved away from the timeline focused HA recovery, as in sort of what you were saying before. I was like, I'm going to fix this in 30 days, or it's going to be done in 6 months, or, chop, chop. It's very aggressive, very masculine, and not stereotyping as in masculine, feminine, but as in when you're trying to soothe yourself down and calm your body, having more feminine traits or softness, as you explained earlier, can really help with the process versus everything being so harsh and cutthroat. And I guess a bully comes to mind. Like you've kind of bullied your body into being a particular weight or eating a particular way, and now you're bullying it into getting your period back. And it doesn't actually facilitate what we're going for. And one thing that really helped me was, to your point of a relationship, is imagine if you'd actually been in a really, really horrible relationship for the last 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 10 years, where your partner was telling you, you can't eat dinner, you've already had enough today, or you can't have breakfast, that's going to make you fat. And I don't care if you're tired, you're going to go run 10K. Or I don't care if you're tired, you're going to go to the gym twice. Right? It's pretty nasty. You're not actually going to want to be in a relationship with that person. But that's actually the way we've been treating our body. And all of a sudden we jump into the HA recovery space, and we suddenly eat well for 24, 48 hours. We take a rest day, and we kind of get this, where's my period? I did things. Where is it?
I did things.
I did the things. And it's like this really mean partner that you've been with, all of a sudden for 24 hours, decides to cook you dinner, buy you roses, run you a hot bath. And you're not sitting there going, oh, the man of my dreams is here. You're going, what's going on? What is this? It makes you really suspicious. You know, you're not going to sit there and be like, oh, he's a good man now. Right. And that's kind of how our body feels when we go through this process, is we've been mistreating it for a really long time. And just because we treat it well for a couple of days doesn't mean we can guarantee this period, because our body's not trusting us yet. And when I was thinking of it from that perspective of, all right, I've been the really nasty partner in this relationship, I've actually got to make amends. I've got to get my body to really trust that whatever changes I'm making, I'm dedicated to. Like, I'm on the pursuit of this, and we're a team now, and I love my body and I love my mind and I love my hormones. And that's not going to happen overnight. And for me, thinking of it from that perspective took away that 30-day, 60-day, however long timeline. Because when I looked at it from an emotional front of rebuilding something with another human, even though it's myself, I know I can't rush that. I can't make anybody feel the way I want them to feel about me. All I can do is facilitate a genuine, loyal, trustworthy environment and allow something to flourish.
And sometimes it's really hard to recover with the same mentality that gave you hypothalamic amenorrhea in the first place. So bringing in that femininity, as you mentioned, it's super important. And I do believe that some women can actually recover their period within that 90 days time frame, or even less than that. But that doesn't apply to every single woman on planet Earth. It really depends on the genetics, the amount of effort that they put into the recovery process. And it also depends on their level of overtraining and undernourishment, and for how many years they have overtrained and undernourished their poor body. So it is very normal to second guess our choices, but sometimes I wonder, like, going to the bathroom for a pee, it's one of our biological needs, and whenever we feel like peeing, then we don't second guess ourselves. I need to pee. And then if you don't go, if you decide to hold it, well, good luck with that, because you're going to be thinking about your need to pee until you finally go to the toilet and do it. But for whatever reasons, whenever we feel, for example, hunger, whenever we start the recovery process and the hunger comes and kick in and knock at our door, we second guess it. And we don't believe that we can actually welcome it and accept it, to the point that some women, they're so detached that their mind-body connection is so detached is not the right word, but you know where I'm going with that. They don't really want to listen to the hunger. They actually try to suppress it. And they may think, but I had breakfast a couple of hours ago. I should not be hungry. I'm going to power through, and I'm going to wait a couple of hours until lunch is going to come. And then I'm going to allow myself to have some food. And that situation can go on and on every single day. And that's a minefield, because if you recover with the same mentality that gave you HI in the first place, as I said before, you're basically putting yourself into a war with yourself, which is not a fun place for to be, because you're going to doubt every single choice that you make. You're going to second guess every single bite of food, every single morsel of food that you're going to have from the moment that you wake up until the moment that you're going to go to sleep. And you're going to be hyper fixated on the symptoms, on how your body is responding to the changes in your nutrition or exercise, for example, on your training sessions.
I think you set the scene really well, even with that example on the am I doing the right thing? Because there's women who can recover by still ignoring some hunger cues, right? They haven't necessarily honored that or found a place where they can make peace with it. And when you ask that question of am I doing the right thing, you could argue that, well, yeah, because you got your period back by doing that. But long term, do you want to have a relationship with yourself where whenever your body's trying to give you a message, you're shutting it down? Or do you want to have a trust there where you can go, oh, look, I'm a little bit hungry, I'll grab something, and then it's done? Because anyone who's currently in the process of ignoring hunger cues will know that it's not as though you just say, no, not doing it, and then it leaves you alone. Like that cue will follow you along all day, and you might have the endurance to stick it out until lunch or dinner, but it's going to nag you all day until you actually have the food that your body needs. And am I doing the right thing by using up mental space for something I could remedy in 2 minutes? Am I doing the right thing by ignoring a bodily cue that's incredibly natural and full of wisdom? Am I doing the right thing by not listening? And then you go to bed of a night and sit there and think about, oh gosh, I really should have just had something to eat. Like I know better. It doesn't actually leave you. It lingers for so much longer than what we realize.
Yeah, and same thing with exercising. Am I doing the right thing if I'm completely fatigued and lethargic and I'm pushing myself to go for a 10K run simply because it's written in my calendar and I have no willingness to put my gym shoes on? Or am I doing the right things about doing a 20 minutes Pilates exercise if I have a sore back or if I have a sore shoulder and I should actually take care of this injury and maybe rest for even a couple of weeks if your body needs that? So it's more about asking yourself that question in different level of your life. And sometimes you can also take it to your relationship and to your career. Am I doing the right things by going to a job that I absolutely hate and it's draining my energy? And every single time when I come back home from work, I find myself crying. And that could also be connected to the state of your hormones and to how your body responds to treatment. Because if you're always in the state of fight and flight, it's going to be much harder for your poor adrenal glands and hypothalamus to produce enough FSH and LH to actually kickstart the period. And as you mentioned before, the recovery journey, it's so much more than getting one period. First of all, it's not the one period. It's about getting regular cycles every month within that 28 to 35 days window. But it's also about bringing in flexibility in your life. And I see so many women that are really scared about the recovery process because they sit on a sessions with me and they're like, okay, so what do I have to stop doing? What are you taking away from my life? Which kind of joy are you taking away from me? And instead, I would like to shift the question and ask, what would you like to bring in? Maybe space, rest, breathing, different type of a bigger variety of food, different type of exercising, time with people that you love. What could you bring in? And I think that should be the question instead of what else can I take away from what I'm currently doing.
Well, because it facilitates that like poor me mentality. Poor me, I have to stop going to the gym. Poor me, and I'm not being unsympathetic to the fact that it's really difficult to step away from exercise. Like I remember reducing my training and it felt awful. It really did. But there was absolutely a shift between I have to, it's being taken away. This isn't fair. Everyone else can train. I can't. And me going, all right, it might not be the choice that I'm excited about, but the reality is I've got a health condition I have the capacity to fix without any kind of medical intervention. Because for me, I wasn't trying for baby. I just wanted period back. That's all I wanted. And I had no other pre-existing health issues. It was just, I had classic textbook HA. And as soon as I shifted the perspective of poor me and this sucks and everyone else can train and I can't, and, that kind of pity party thought to, wow, healing is all in me. It's all up to me. I have a choice. I found that really empowering because I went from feeling like everything was being taken away to I could have so many other conditions where you need really extreme medical protocols or treatments or things that you don't have a choice. You just have to do it in order to get through it. And I was facing something where, all right, I have to make an uncomfortable decision. And once I get through this stage, I can actually go back to doing what I love doing. It's just a chapter. It's not the rest of my life.
And I think that there is this hyper fixation in changing, giving up the things that you love and accepting weight gain and a body that it doesn't look like the one that you had dreamed of. But the reality is that HA comes with lots of challenges. I absolutely agree with that, and can be frustrating on so many levels, but it also allows you to bring in new opportunities and experiences in life. And to top it all off, it allows you to get to know who you really are and what you value. And it's an opportunity to discover a new identity on top of the one that you have already established. That could be a fit identity, or someone that loves to eat very clean food, that type A personality, perfectionism, working hard. Also opens this window of opportunity where you can ask yourself, okay, I've done that. I've already been that go type of person. I've been the marathon runner or the CrossFit athletes. I've already done the keto, the intermittent fasting, the clean food. I've done all of that. What else can I do? What else can I experience? Which other people am I going to meet because of this? You know, that it's such a different way of welcoming in the new, bringing in the new, and shedding the old, instead of thinking, oh, see, she can exercise, she'll still thin, and I bet that she has a period. When the reality is that you don't know. And comparison is a thief of joy, not because I said it, but I think that it's one of the sentences that is most used in the HA recovery world. But it really is, because if you keep comparing with the people around you, you're not really focusing on what is important, which is the fact that you can heal yourself and you have the power to make your life absolutely exceptional.
And even to the point of your body's not perhaps something that you foresaw yourself as maintaining, right? Because I will openly and honestly say, if I could have the physique that I had, but with the level of health I've got now, I would, in a heartbeat. I would love to look the way that I did again. But if I had to give up everything I have right now, my children, well, my baby and my growing baby, the relationship with my friends, family, food, self, I would never in a million years trade in what I've got now for the body that I had. I just wouldn't. I can sit there and go, oh, that physique makes me smile. Like, I remember feeling really good in that body, but it's not worth what's on the other side of it. Like, and if someone said, hey, Jade, go comp prep, I'll even pay you to do it, I wouldn't do it, because I'd have to give up everything that I'm living and enjoying right now. And that seems wild. But if I had have thought that back in the day of HA, full of crap. There's no way I'm happy if I don't look like this. And it's just, again, creating space to see that what you're striving for can and most likely will give you more joy than you have ever imagined. Ever.
Yeah. And I also may say that I am one of those people that I've changed the lifestyle dramatically, but my body hasn't changed that much. So there is also that reality. So sometimes women, they do think that they always have to be completely different or gaining 20 kilos to get the period back. And sometimes maybe that's not the story that they're going to write. Like, if they told me that at the beginning of my HA recovery process, that that's how I was gonna feel and look like at the end of it, I would have wasted a second of my time. But I think that that's where women get stuck, is the uncertainty. Am I doing the right thing? What if I do this thing is not the right one and I'm not gonna see results? What if I gain the weight and I'm not going to get what I want? What if I get my period back and then I try and get pregnant and I don't get my baby? And that's, I think, that is the biggest problem for women going through the HA recovery process, because maybe they come from a reality where everything was very controlled, everything was already very predictable, and all of a sudden someone is asking you to trust their body, trust their process, where for the past few years, they have completely suppressed the body and they still haven't made the connection, that mind-body connection, which is fundamental in this process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love that you brought up the different body types, because like you said, you didn't experience the changes that some women do experience. And it's
Mhm.
important to know that the recoveries come in literally in all shapes and sizes, and one is not more valid than any other. But
No,
the magic is finding what your body needs to thrive. Like, and
yeah.
that's it, because once you've got that skill, you've got that for the rest of your life. Because as we've talked about in the past, being a detective for your own body is you learn those tools and you take them with you. And when different things arise, because different things will, we're ready to take them on board straight away and go, hang on, what does this mean for me? Do I need to make a change? Do I need to seek help? Do I need to take a step back? Which, hence why we are so passionate about what we do with the women, because it's not only that we help them get their period back, we help them fall pregnant. We've given them a set of tools that are going to be with them forever, whether that be the mindset, whether that be the detective, whether that be a nutrition where they actually feel like they're 100% most days of the week.
Or even getting the permission from someone that knows HA. I would have paid so much just to get someone on my Facebook or on my Instagram to simply tell me a decade ago, you're doing okay. What you ate today was absolutely normal. It wasn't too much. It was just perfect for you today. And the way that you allowed yourself to rest, well
Good
done,
job.
woman. Yeah, good job. You're doing so well. I'm so proud of you. I wish that I had that. And we are in a very privileged position where we are now in a place to support women that are going through that.
Absolutely. And I'm quickly going to touch on one point on the am I doing the right thing in regards to exercise,
Mm.
because we've covered many bases today. But one thing to consider if that is something you're questioning is, again, are you choosing exercise to support your hormones, to support your overall health and well-being? Because the disconnect I often find women have with their exercise choices is they're questioning their exercise based on their past goal. So
Mm.
while I want to do a bodybuilding comp, I want to run a marathon, I want to look a particular way, feel a particular way, lift a particular weight, I need to train 5 days a week to do that. Okay. But your goal isn't that right now. It can be again in the future, but for right now, your goal is actually to get your period back. So is that 5 days a week helping you get there? Or is that 5 days a week helping you achieve your old goal? Right? Because you need to make the differentiation between the two. Because once you can start making better choices and going, oh, hang on, well, to get my period back, maybe dropping training to 4 days a week would be beneficial. Maybe having a rest day would be beneficial, but you need to question the goal at hand rather than be thinking about the past self, because the past self will always keep you in the same position, always. And your brain will always go to it unless you tell it where to look, because it's been rehearsing that for so long. It'll do the same with food, with exercise, with relationships, everything. You need to focus and then change what you're focusing on. And
It's so hard to be in two minds.
and that's why that question pops up, because if you go that training past self versus training future self, well, if I take a rest day, that doesn't comply with my old goal, but if I take a
Mhm.
rest day, it does comply with my new goal. So you've got to keep bringing to the forefront, what do I need to do to get where I want to be? And one last point before we wrap things up is, and I've brought this up in I think our community call this week, was whenever we're feeling frazzled or uncertain, we tend to compare our present self to our old self, and we see our old self as this pedestal. It's a warped reality. It's not actually a pedestal, because we've sought out healing for a particular reason. We weren't feeling good, we weren't falling pregnant, we weren't having babies, we were sad, we were depressed, we were burnt out. But if you actually compare your present self to your future self, like where you're going to be if you make these changes, you're not going to sit there and ponder everything you're doing today, because you're going to be too not distracted. You're going to be too focused on where you're going. And that's going to lead you to make the appropriate choices. So whenever you're feeling overwhelmed or stuck, correct yourself. Stop going, oh, but I used to do this. I used to be this. No, 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 no. Right. Or if you need to, that's great. It served me for that time. I'm happy with those past choices. But what does my future self bring me? And what
Mm.
does my future self choose? Does she choose to nourish? Does she choose to rest? Does she choose to do exercise that's liberating rather than saturating, like just drowning you out. What's future you doing? Be her. Practice being her every day.
Yeah, especially because if you keep looking at the past, the more you're gonna come up with excuses for the present moment. And you can't want to have a baby while not having a period, but still thinking that you have to train every single day because that feels good to you. You have to choose which one do you want. We can look for a compromise, obviously, but what's important for you right now? Because you need to start from that place. What do you really want? And then we are going to work out the logistics and how to get you to that place without you getting insane while still moving your body and feel filled with energy. But first of all, as you mentioned, choose where you want to go, choose who you want to be, and then everything is going to fall like domino effect. Everything is going to follow.
Because you've got focus. I love that. And I think that's a wonderful place for us to finish our podcast for today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast or the YouTube, because the more followers and subscribers we have, the more outreach we get to other women that are in the healing process. I will leave all of our contact details and links below. And as always, I hope you have absolutely enjoyed this episode. And Claudia, I'm counting down the days to our next one. I'm so happy seeing your beautiful smiley face. And as always, thank you for bringing your words of wisdoms to the podcast today.
Thank you, Jade. I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.